I've never been one to keep a diary. Instead, I record my existence by covering my walls with tickets, photographs and whatever else. This is the time I walked up 1,000 steps. This is the time I met R2-D2. And this is a picture of a seal that used to live in Cardiff. Cardiff does Christmas pretty well. There's decorations, a winter wonderland, and these small wooden huts where local traders come to trade. This is Phil. He sells old photographs of the Cardiff area, and it's in one of his photographs where I first met Billy the Seal.
Billy the Seal. Billy was basically a seal that lived in Victoria Park.
I've come to Victoria Park to meet Charlie. Her family has used the park for decades.
So I always knew when I was little that a seal used to live here, and I thought it was absolutely fascinating. But it was only, I think I must have been about 9 when the statue went up, and I think after that went up it kind of caused me to ask more stories, I suppose, to my grandmother about it.
This is the statue of Billy, and this is where he used to live, between the years of 1912 and 1939. The pool is currently not in use and is due to be replaced.
I remember my grandmother telling me that she used to go to the fish shop and buy fish heads from the fishmonger, and she'd come down to the park as like a day out to feed Billy the Seal, which is quite cute. They're not saying much about her though.
It's always like the same information, isn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose there's not a lot to say. Oh man, imagine there being a seal in the park now. That'd be insane.
Yeah, you'd have kids throwing shit at you, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you're right.
Heckling you.
That is great. Thank you.
Right, it says here, immortalised by Frank Hennessy. Who's that?
Oh, that's the guy. He done the song.
Oh, okay.
He wouldn't let me film him or anything without money.
Oh, nice.
Wouldn't let me use this track.
Lovely man. It's a shame, isn't it?
I'm heading to the archives in Cardiff to see if there's any more information on Billy the Seal. Cardiff Fishing Company, Neil and West, accidentally caught the seal in their nets, and in 1912 the seal moved into his new home in Victoria Park. Local legend has it that the seal caught a tram in the mid-20s when the River Ely burst its banks and flooded the park. Billy escaped down Cowbridge Road East. Someone later confessed that he helped the seal onto the tram as part of a schoolboy prank. In 1997, a statue was erected in Victoria Park in honour of Billy the Seal.
The death of the seal is kind of the early years of this museum actually being operational. It was around 1926, I believe, that the museum itself actually opened. So shortly after that, the seal died and the seal was prepped in-house.
In 1939, Billy the Seal was dead. His body was found when the park owners went to feed him.
This is the famous Billy the Seal that lived in Victoria Park. The skeleton of Billy the Seal. Billy was really a she, not a he, but that was only discovered after her death.
I was quite fascinated when I found out that Billy was actually a girl.
And the fact that after his death they realised that he wasn't a boy, he was actually a little girl.
You can tell it's a female from the skeleton. It's pretty small, to be honest. The balls get much beefier.
All right, so the male ones would be much larger.
Yeah, they get much larger. Yeah, it's quite small for us. Well, standard sort of female seal size. The skeleton was done as a preparation in-house in the museum after the death of the seal. It must have been done pretty quickly because freezers wouldn't have been that available and things go manky pretty quick. Kids knew of Billy the seal, yeah. It was because the paddling pond was always a favourite in the summer, and that's the pond in which the seal lived in and was built for the seal in the first place. And hence Billy, which is really a Billyette, came to being as a Cardiff icon. But yeah, there's a lot of interest in Billy. She lives here on permanent display, more or less, in this, the Claw Gallery, the gallery we're in, which is a sort of activity gallery. And when we haven't got her on display, there's a lot of people asking, where is she? So, always missed.